we are together again on the radio with this story from FoxNews.com. Says here, according to a new study, the type of man who makes women's hearts flutter has a lot to do with whether she was a daddy's girl. Women who got along well with their dads as kids are attracted to men who physically resemble their fathers. Whereas women who had a bad father-daughter relationship do not. It says here, Linda Boothroyd, a psychologist at Durham University in England, and her colleagues at the University of Wrocław and the Institute of Anthropology in Poland, asked a trained anthropologist to perform facial measurements on the photographs of 15 random men as well as the photographs of the fathers of 49 Polish women participating in the study. The anthropologist calculated 15 key proportions based on how various features, such as the lips, nose, cheekbones, and eyebrows, related to each face's height and width. The women then rated their childhood relationships with their fathers based on how emotionally invested they felt their dads had been in raising them and how much time their fathers had spent with them. The researchers asked the women to rate how attractive they found each of the 15 random male faces. The women who had reported positive relationships with their fathers were much more likely to be attracted to men resembling their fathers, the researchers found. On the other hand, women with bad paternal relationships did not find men who looked like their fathers appealing. And it goes on and on like this. I really do think there's an awful lot of women, because I do believe most people get along with their parents to some extent anyway. And I have always believed that that women are looking for guys like their father. Women who were molested as children, of course not. Women who were abused as children, no. I might also add women whose fathers left them at an early age. I think they are especially looking for dad. You know, women who grew up in a home with a single mother. You know, I always talk about guys who grew up in a single mother household. Let's talk about chicks who grew up in a single mother household. They haven't had daddy around, and I want to tell you something. Every woman I've ever talked to about this, it seems to me, and I have not done scientific research, this is anecdotal, seems to me that women whose dads left at a young age, tarted themselves up at a younger age, had sex for the first time at a younger age, and spent their lives looking to fill the emptiness left by not having a dad around. And many times they try to fulfill that by getting with guys and having sex with them. So if you're looking to prey upon women, one great way to do that is to look for women whose fathers left them when they were young. Many of them, I think, are ready to go. They're hot to trot. As they said 50 years ago, they're hot to trot. I've actually been with, forget who's your daddy, I've been with women who told me that I resembled their dad, and they actually wanted to call me dad for that reason. Had that. There's some kind of weird sexual tension that exists between daughters and fathers that is usually never realized, spoken about, or acted upon. It just exists. And women act that out with someone who is socially acceptable to act it out with. A guy who has at least some of the characteristics of her dad. All I can tell you about is once I get into my 40s, I had more women between the ages of 18 and 28 years old than I ever had in my entire life. Than I ever had in my entire life. It's truly amazing. And to this day, many of the women who show an interest in me are young enough to be my daughter or even younger. Gotta love it, but what is that all about? What is that all about? Why are women looking for guys with the characteristics of their dad, especially since many dads are not good fathers or they're bad people? They are somewhat abusive, or they leave home at an early age or whatever, at the girl's early age, and she grows up looking for dad. What's going on there? How many of you girls understand exactly what I'm talking about? See, I think a lot of the girls understand exactly what I'm talking about. I don't think guys have learned how to cash in on this. Nothing better than a girl who's looking for somebody like her dad. It's truly amazing. When dad left home early, you are in the driver's seat. No doubt about it. You know, I know you boys never, ever, ever look at, high school girls because it's just wrong to do. But if by accident you ever happen to notice, you don't even have to talk to them. And I recommend you don't. But if you look around at the girls who are the most tarted up in school, I can pretty much guarantee you that most of those girls, dad left home early. These are the women who show up at the prom with a 30-year-old date. You know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. Am I wrong about this?
1-800-5800-TOM.
Really?
1-800-5800-866.
I like your show, but I don't agree with everything, and I just want
But you can't stop listening. It's like a bad car wreck. All of a sudden, you see one, you stop on the highway. Oh, wait. Oh, no. Oh, God. Oh, the humanity. Oh, Jesus.
It's the Tom Leykis Show.
Tom Leykis Show at 1-800-5800-TOM. Diane on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hello.
Yes.
Hey, Tom, I think that younger women date older men because the men have resources that the women can benefit from. Not just money, maybe it's knowledge of a certain field, or I don't know, maybe actual physical things, but maybe someone would date you if they wanted to get into the radio industry.
Women have dated me wanting to get into all kinds of businesses. I will tell you that because they believe that I know something that they don't know. They know that I'm a self-made multimillionaire. They know that I'm successful, professionally successful. And, yes, I'm sure that's a reason some women have dated me. Some women date me simply because I have money or because they know my name. And other women have dated me without knowing who I am or what I do for a living, because keep in mind the target audience of our show is men.
Yeah, I'm sure lots of different women have dated you for different reasons, but we're talking about significantly younger women, right?
Right. That's what I'm talking about.
Because you have money, or maybe you have knowledge of something they want to learn about.
I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm saying, though, those are just two reasons. There are many reasons. But I also happen to believe, in some cases, women have this, it's a dirty little secret. It's something even they don't understand. I think there's many women who have this sexual tension with their dads. That is never realized, of course.
Sexual tension with their dad?
Yes, yes. You know, dad calls you little princess and, talking about how great you look and how you're growing up and all these things. And I do think there is some unrealized sexual tension between dads and daughters sometimes. It's never talked about. It's never acted upon. Nothing ever happens.
I think all women, especially little girls, you want to feel cherished and appreciated by your dad. And maybe if you don't get that, then it turns into some weird sexual
I don't think it's that weird. I don't think it's that weird, and I don't think it's that unusual, frankly, based on my own experience.
Once you get old enough to have sexual feelings, you certainly don't have them towards your dad. Maybe there's something else.
I think that whatever you felt, I believe whatever happened when you were younger later transfers to the men that you have relationships with. I have been with women who literally have treated me like I am their dad.
Do they call you daddy, like, while you're doing
Sometimes they do.
And do you like that?
I just like getting laid. They can call me anything.
Huh. That's weird.
You think that's weird?
Weird. Yeah, that's weird.
Well, you've heard of, for example, you've heard of Latin women referring to their men as papi.
And that's weird.
What's that about? But it's very common.
Oh, wow.
It's very common. It's very common.
Well, I don't know. I think usually that the men have something the women want. Knowledge of something.
But the thing is, dear, don't kid yourself. Everybody gets into the sack with somebody because the other person thinks you have something they want. It could be a 14-inch personality. It could be anything. Nobody gets into bed for no reason. There's something everybody wants to get from the other person.
True.
I don't see why money is any worse than any of the other reasons people get into the sack with someone.
Well, I think young girls a lot of times are very vulnerable, and they're easy prey for older men, too.
Fantastic.
Definitely.
You say that like it's a bad thing.
Well, I don't know. I think a lot of girls probably don't realize how these older men are using them, or maybe they do and they don't care. But they want whatever they want from the guys.
Dear, they're using us too. Don't you understand? They think they're getting closer to a career, or they think they're getting some free trips, or they think they're going to get a car, or they think I mean, come on. Yeah, this idea that somebody who's 18 years old and an adult and able to sign contracts and vote for president, the idea that person's being taken advantage of, that person's an adult.
Yeah, just a lot of these girls are not consciously aware, I don't think, of what is really going on.
Does it really matter? A lot of men are not consciously aware of women who want to take them for their money or take them for the other things they have. So what?
That's true.
Why do we consider, why do we always look at the woman as the delicate little flower, the little victim, and the man as the big bad monster predator?
Compared, an 18-year-old girl compared to a 60-year-old man? I would definitely
each side thinks the other side has something they can benefit from.
Yeah, I think it's a little more, there's a little more integrity in looking for knowledge than ads. I don't know.
I don't agree with that for 1 minute. I mean, let's face it.
That's just my perspective.
Let's face it. When you're jumping into the sack, it's more honest to be looking for somebody hot.
Maybe. I don't know. I just definitely don't think it's because...
I mean, who gets into bed? Who gets into bed and plays Final Jeopardy?
What? Oh, okay, maybe not in bed you don't play Final Jeopardy.
Well, that's my point. Why do you think people hook up? To give IQ tests?
But really, who's getting the short end of the stick when a young woman gets in bed with an old man? For real.
But again, dear, you think that women don't get anything from older men. They do want things like sophistication or similarities to their dad or sophistication. But again, now you keep trying to move the yard markers. You keep trying to change the game here as we play. Both sides stand to gain something. I can tell you, for example, as a 50-year-old guy, when I'm with a 21-year-old woman, it's not just money. She's fascinated with the fact that I know about wine, or that I've traveled places, or that I still travel places. She's fascinated, wanting to know more about what I do for a living, or where I live, or all kinds of things. She's getting something out of it, and I'm getting something out of it.
I guess so. I just think that young women should date young men before they get old while they still have an opportunity, because most young men do not want to date older women. So,
well, you can say that all you want, but I can tell you right now, women are looking for daddy. Many young women are looking for daddy, and there's a lot of us guys out here who are all too happy to play along.
All right, Tom. I hope you can be several people's daddy.
Thank you, dear. I mean, really, does it really matter why I end up in the sack with somebody? Do I really care? They just want to be with you because you're Tom Leykis. What's wrong with that? There are women who want to be in bed with somebody because he's Colin Farrell. Or women who want to be in bed with somebody because he's, Mr. Universe. Or so what? Should I say there's something wrong with that? By the way, may I say... Think about this, okay? I mean, I'm not in the sack with these women because I'm looking for intelligence. I'm looking to see their hot bodies. That's what I want to see. I'm getting something out of it. We don't get into bed with people to benefit the other person. get into bed with somebody because it fulfills something in us. Carrie on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
Tom, how are you?
All right. Well, you're in Cottonwood, Arizona?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, look at you. I've been to Cottonwood.
Have you? I've heard you mention to somebody down in Phoenix to come up here and get away.
I've been to Cottonwood. I've been to Jerome.
Oh, heck yeah. Jerome is fun.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I am 40, and I dated a man who was 11 years older than me. And it started, I think, when I was 33 and he was 43. And it lasted 6 years. And it was definitely a father thing. The strength and support he gave me, he definitely made me into a very strong woman.
What do you think about the last caller who's trying to call up here, say somehow you were taken advantage of?
Oh, heck no. I chased him. There was like a persona about him that attracted me. And he was retired military. He was in Delta, and he was just very strong. I could not manipulate him mentally, so that made him even more attractive. Because if I can manipulate a man mentally, he's gone. I don't want to be able to control the man. If I can control the man, he's weak.
And I do believe young women are able to do that to young men, because young men want to get laid so badly and they've got no game, that they will do anything. They will, come paint your apartment or show up at 3:30 in the morning when there's a spider in your bathtub or whatever.
I also have 4 sons, and I hooked my 21-year-old up with you a couple weeks ago, and I'm like, you've got to listen to this man. He's telling you everything I've been telling you. Women are evil. They are evil. You need to go to college. You need to get your education. You need to, get your dreams. And then later on, if you want to, get married, do it then. But, prenup.
That's right.
Yeah, I have 4 sons, and I've had to scare a couple little girls away.
I understand.
Yeah.
Good work.
Well, thank you. But, yeah, definitely certain women, like my dad left when I was 8, and I had that emptiness, and this man filled that spot and made me very strong, very independent. I do not depend on anybody but myself. I pay for dates.
Really?
Yeah, I ask guys out for dates.
Is that so?
Yeah. Yeah, the last guy I've asked out, we've been going out for about 6 weeks, and actually he's telling me he's too mushy and I'm not, so he's going to toughen up like me and quit showing me his mushy side. Because I don't return phone calls.
Thank you, Carrie. 1-800-5800-TOM. It's Gabriel on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hey, Tom.
Hey.
Welcome to our parents come true. Yeah, well, what I learned is that that's what's lacking in all their lives. And as they get older, they want to play daddy.
Right.
And they want to control us. But they're all in competition with their daughters for our attention and affection all throughout life.
Believe me, I've seen that close up.
So, yeah, I have too. I've actually sat back and watched this happen with family members and friends and participated very carefully myself.
Yes.
And one-on-one always, like you say. But what I also find is when they're intimidated, that's the type of guy they always wind up respecting and never calling the cops on. You ever notice how they're attracted to the thugs and gangsters and all that stuff?
Yes.
Well, that's because those kind of guys, they don't dare control. And that's also what they sexually respond to is discipline, which also has to do with the father that was lacking. You ever watch the Maury Povich show?
Every now and then.
You see these 13-year-old girls going crazy and their moms can't control them?
Yep.
Well, that's because they kicked daddy to the curb and they got that D. West guy, that black guy,
Yeah, I know.
He's just a pussy, and he's trying to fill the spot of dad. And the law allowed these women to, try to control their families by kicking the dads out of the families through the law. So being that this is the case, the law has left us no choice but to be the government, the control of the family, which is, the original life. God made, you don't believe in God, but whoever made us stronger and with this kind of authority. I mean, a woman's never been president, yet the Statue of Liberty is a woman.
Well, that's only because Paris said it to us. We did not create the Statue of Liberty. Think about that. 1-800-5800-TOM is our telephone number. This is Angie on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Tom, hi.
Hi.
Oh, my gosh. Long-time listener, first-time caller, and I love you.
Thank you.
Well, I was listening to your show, and I totally agree because my girls, actually, we had this conversation, and we were talking about how women are mostly attracted to men who resemble their daddies. And the reason why is because guys get the best end of the deal, I guess, because whether a guy is a jerk and their dad was a jerk, they usually follow the jerky guys because they want to gain the appreciation and the love that their dad didn't give them. So in like a sense, they're trying to win that love back. Like, ooh, my dad was mean to me, so I'm going to probably get this guy to fall in love with me. And kind of in a way, it's like my dad's falling in love with me all over again.
What do you think about that?
Oh, I think it's crazy because I think it also works for the other guys who resemble the dads who women had good relationships with.
Yes.
They want that love, too, you know? They want it. They're like, oh, my dad was such a great guy, and you're a great guy. Let me fall in love with you and do anything you want.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, so guys get a good end here. Be a jerk, you still get laid. Be an angel, you still get laid.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Guys got it good, let me tell you. Girls got to rearrange their perspectives here.
I completely understand, Angie. Thank you for that. 1-800-5800-TOM. This is Mike on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
How's it going, Tom?
Great.
Good, good. Man, I never know when you're going to take my call, so I have, like, all these notes written down about all these previous callers. That girl from Cottonwood is right on the money.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think of her?
Sound like she got it.
She had some good points, that's
yes.
for sure. Now, my question is, what are the characteristics of these girls that have daddy issues? Like, what can you look for?
Well, you have to have a conversation with them. And, I mean, one of the first things I ask women all the time is whether their parents are still together.
Yeah, true.
I'll start by talking about my parents. I'll say things like, you know, my parents were married for, well, 40 years until my dad died. 40 years. Are your parents still together?
You're just fishing for information.
And the minute they tell me that dad left when they were 4 or 5, oh, I know I'm getting what I want.
But let me tell you, the girls who have daddy issues are the best in bed. Best.
Well, yes.
Because the girls that want to have a relationship with guys who are like their fathers, that's all they're thinking about is the security. They're not really thinking about the raw sex. They're really just thinking about where's this relationship going to go, and is it going to lead me to where I want to be in life, and all that is just a bunch of nonsense. So the girls who have daddy issues are the ones who I would say that there's physical characteristics that you can tell, you know, if a girl has daddy issues. One being their car is beat up.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, if they got a nice car, obviously somebody's paying for that. You want to kind of steer away from that.
Right.
Tattoos, I would say that's another one. What are the physical characteristics, though, do you think?
Physical characteristics? Slutty. Slutty.
I know a lot of slutty girls though that get along with their dads real well. They're like, oh, I'm going to go on a hike with my dad.
Oh, hey, wait a minute. That's not the only way. They don't have to not get along with their dad. In fact, I would say the ones who don't get along with their dad are not nearly as good a potential target. Just because dad left doesn't mean they don't get along with dad. It's just, I would say women who had good relationships with their fathers, you have a much better shot with them than ones who didn't.
Yeah, that's true.
But having a good relationship with their father and then dad leaves at 5 and gets visitation once a month or twice a month, that is the perfect storm.
That's a score.
Yes, you're definitely going to get some there.
Beautiful. Well, thanks for touching base on that, Tom.
All right, Mike. Thanks a lot for the call.
Tom Leykis. 1-800-5800-TOM. 1-800-5800-866.
If they hurt me, I stop loving them.
There's no second chance forgiveness.
If someone took a knife and put it in my heart, and I survived, I could not come out of the hospital and say, I love you, man. I couldn't do it.
The Tom Leykis Show.
The Tom Leykis Show from Hollywood at 1-800-5800-TOM. It's our telephone number. And we're talking about women who are into dating older guys, women who are into dating guys like their dad, women who are looking for daddy. You know what I'm talking about. Jessica on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hello.
Yes.
Yes. My boyfriend and I are 9 years apart, and I've always dated older guys. And I was just listening in to the last caller, and he was talking about how it's usually because they have daddy issues or something. And I kind of disagree with that because I don't have any problems with my dad. I just like older guys because I don't have to deal with, you know, the stuff that, you know, younger guys my age do. Just, you know, being
like
late or standing you up or something like that.
So older guys show up on time, they don't flake, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, well, the ones that I've dated in the past usually have been pretty on time, and, you know, they're more businesslike. They don't, you know, they're not out to go out and cheat on me, or I haven't had really any problems with them.
How are they?
How are they? Like 20 or 21, and they always end up being like, oh, you know, I just don't think you're my type, or, you know, they kind of play games with you more than I believe older guys do.
Let me ask you this question. How are older guys on the sack?
They're a lot better than younger guys, I think, because, you know, they have, you know, more experience with different women. So you could pretty much rely on them to suit your needs.
Really? So how old have you gone, Jessica?
I've gone 31. 31? Yes.
Wow, is that as old as you'll go?
No, I probably would go older. I think the oldest I'd go would probably be 34.
34. Mm-hmm. And young guys your age, you're out.
Pretty much. I just, you know, I've tried to date them, and a lot of my friends just think I'm crazy dating older guys. But my best friend Mandy and I, we just agree that older guys are just a lot better. They have, usually the majority of them have a stable job. They're not going to mess with you. And they're just better in bed, you know?
Thank you for that, Jessica. 1-800-5800-TOM is our telephone number. Aaron on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi. Okay, well, I have a comment to make, too. And let me just give you some brief background. When I was about 18, I moved out to Phoenix and met a man that was actually about my same age, a couple of years older. We got into a relationship, and it was awful. I mean, awful. He was abusive. He was a drug addict. I mean, everything bad that you could possibly think of. He was all those things, and to top it off, a rich little mama's boy at that. And it ended up ending. I left him when he raised a hand to our newborn daughter. Left him and never looked back. And I was kind of a broken woman because I was with him for, 3-4 years of intense physical and mental and emotional abuse. But as I pulled myself together, I said, never again. I won't date anyone. I didn't even want to date anyone, good guy or bad guy, anything like him. And the next thing I know, who came into my life was a man, and remember, at this time, I was 23 years old now. And he was terrific. And he was 59 years old. He was intelligent. He actually had his own money, not his mother's money. He's kind of the king of the guru of indoor tanning. So, he had wealth, he had power, he had intelligence, he had class. He had everything that a woman could possibly desire. And it was the best time of my life. I ended up falling in love with him, and I'll tell you what, I never saw that one coming.
And where is he now? What happened?
Well, we parted ways amicably. We were engaged and planning our wedding in Greece, and it was just a little too much. And, I love him to death. I respect him, but the timing wasn't right for us.
So you would still be interested. When you say the timing wasn't right, does that mean it would be right later?
Well, I don't know. Either way, I can say that I absolutely have no problem with dating older men. I prefer older men, and I wouldn't even want to date a man in his 20s or, even 30s can be sometimes iffy. I feel better 40s and up.
Look at you.
Yeah, I do. I didn't expect that I would fall in love with a man that was in his 60s, but it happened, And for being in his 60s, he was an extremely handsome man.
Well, thank you for that, Aaron. I appreciate the call. 1-800-5800-TOM. That's our telephone number. This is Julio on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hello, Tom.
Hello, Julio.
How you been, Professor?
Great.
Great to hear. Well, I just want, thinking my 5 cents in there, too, and say that this basically has been around for quite a while. You heard of the Electra complex, right?
Yes.
That, where the daughter always wanted to be with the father and, and get the mother out of the way and all that kind of stuff. So I think that's, basically the idea. And then I think the main reason most of the young women go for older men is because just like the lady said right before that, they're looking for somebody who's giving security, and it's, that older men seem safer and that older men will appreciate them more because the younger man can always say, I can get another younger piece of ass, while older men is, they feel that, they're going to think that, oh, this is the best, the youngest piece of ass I can get, kind of a thing,
Well, yeah, I do think that's true, and I do think that guys, if they keep their eyes open, can score a lot of these. There's not just once or twice. You're not just lucky. There's a lot of women looking for this kind of relationship.
Yeah, but I do disagree with you on the fact that women aren't slutty because they want a daddy thing. I think most of the time when a girl is slutty, it's mainly because depending on how strict they were with her when she was growing up, whether it be with one parent or two parents. Because when I was going in high school, most of the slutty girls were usually with both mom and dad at home, as opposed to the single girls with their mom at home. They seem to be the least likely to be the slutty ones.
Oh, that hasn't been my experience at all. The one where daddy left at a young age, I've definitely seen them be slutty. Again, we've all had our own experiences. That happens to be mine. This is Mike on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hey, Tom. How you doing?
Great.
Hey, Tom. I just think all these ladies were talking about everything. They were mentioning the stuff that they like. They were all saying power, but they didn't notice that while they're growing up with their dads, they all look up to their dads like the most powerful man ever and the most things that he could do and the smartest. And they get attracted to the power because when they look at a person and it looks like their dad, it attracts power. They think the person that looks like their dad is powerful too. And it's that girls love power. And it all matters for them. That's all it is, power.
Oh, I think power is definitely part of it. And if you have money or fame, even better. Michelle on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hi, Tom. How are you?
Great.
I disagree with what they say. I look up to my father. He's a very hard worker. He's put 40 years in the same steel mill, and he's lost his pension back in Indiana. He's still there. He's a very hard worker, which made me a hard worker out here in Arizona. I have been married twice now on my second divorce, and it's all about money. My first one was I made more money than them. The husband that I was with now made more. He owns his own business, but it's a money issue with guys. They claim that the more they make, the more we want. His parents could not accept me. They deny it because I wear jeans, tank top. I ride a Harley Davidson, which was just stripped from me. They took it away.
Really?
Correct. I had an 03 customized fat boy, pearl white. Mind you, I'm 5'3" and about 100 pounds right now. I lost a few pounds since I found out I was getting divorced, which I had no clue. But with the power and the money thing, there are women out there, and I'm not saying I make a lot. I make a decent amount of living. It's not all about money. I think what you pursue yourself or portray yourself. It
isn't all money. It's money or power or perceived power or ambition or potential. There's a bunch of different variations on that theme.
Absolutely. And my father makes a lot of money. Well, he did at the mill for 40 years, and he got dissed and lost his pension, and he's still fighting for it. But all the people that I've been with, I've made more than as a respiratory therapist out here, which I could make more if I was back in Chicago, but I chose to stay here for the weather. Now I'm with somebody that owns their own business and makes quite a bit more, and they use that against me. Now I have to buy my house that I've lived in for 4 years off of him for almost $70,000 more than what we owe on it because now we're going way off the subject here, but I do thank you for that. Ashley on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hi, Tom. How are you?
Great.
Good. I am 20, and it's funny today. I was talking to my friend, and for some reason, it's not that I choose to be with older guys. I just am always with older guys. And I think I figured out what it is. It's just that I like talking to intelligent people. And it's not that the young guys are not intelligent, but
they don't have the same experience.
Yes, they don't really have much to talk about. And the funny thing is, all my friends, guys or girls, are all a good anywhere from 10 to 25 years older than me.
Really?
I probably have one friend from high school, but I talk to her maybe once a month, if that. We never actually really hang out. I just talk to her.
Wow.
And so, and I don't know if I disagree with the sexual tension, because I think with some girls it's totally true. But for me, my dad is smart, but in his own way. I mean, not the intelligence that I can sit and have a conversation with him so much.
So then you're not looking for somebody like him?
No, not at all. And, if I see even one small red flag of something even similar to my dad, I don't realize it at first, but, I will completely shut off whatever communication I had with that person, and then later on I think about it, and it's because that's what my dad's like. And I can get along great with my dad. I just don't want anything. I don't want to be with anybody that is anything like him.
I understand. Mary on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Good. Hello. Good afternoon. How are you doing?
Great.
I was calling because my husband got me listening to you about a month ago, and I listen every day on my way home from work. I did not meet my own father until I was 20 years old. And I have to say that I was excessively promiscuous from the time I was 17 up until probably still.
I'll bet you didn't know any guys who felt that way. Our email address, tom@blowmeuptom.com.
The Tom Leykis Show.